Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. I am Mulan Montrese Williams here in Orlando, Florida. I am the executive director of Divas in Dialogue, which is an organization I created for trans women. And I'm just so happy to be here to talk about the National Trans Visibility March. For me, this march means so much to me. I remember my first time going. It was just like a natural high, a natural feel of just happiness, love. Everything was just so beautiful. And I've been going ever since. So I'm so happy we are going to Puerto Rico this year. That is so amazing to me. I'm excited. But today we are coming from the Florida region to talk about the march. We have a few of our fellow trans leaders that are coming on to also speak about the march and what it means to them. So let's go ahead and bring them on and let's get started.
Ashante, go ahead and
Hello,
introduce yourself.
hello. Can y'all hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
we
yes.
can.
Okay, great. Because I was having such a hard time at first. Excuse me, everyone. I'm on my way to Pride, so I'm at the airport.
Wait a
But
minute. Wait. They pushing you in the wheelchair, girl. She faking, y'all. She faking. Make her walk.
okay,
I'm sorry. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
so I am one of the original ambassadors of the march itself. It actually was created in. It was talked about. Let's just say that it was talked about in Atlanta, and I'm friends with the person that came up with the idea, and it bloomed. When we got to the march, sisterhood, brotherhood, family. I enjoy seeing all of us. That first march, baby, it was thousands of us there. Beautiful, all colors, just enjoying and loving on each other. And it was our day. The march to me means unity, especially in a time like this. We already know we have all this political stuff going on and people not accepting us or acknowledging us. So this march is very important. And we're going to support our sisters and brothers in Puerto Rico. Oh yeah, and by the way, I have my own organization here in the Tampa Bay area, creating resources for trans women. That's it. Thank you.
Barbie.
Hi, everyone. My name is Yasmin Prosper, also known in community as Barbie Miyake Mugler from the iconic International House of Miyake Mugler. I am the founder and executive director of Trans United in Elevation and the co-founder and co-executive director of Trans Safety Protection Project. Now, we are a socioeconomic, uh, gender expansive, and trans led economic justice workforce development nonprofit, which helps people with developing life skills in regards to education, employment, wellness, financial literacy, and overall self elevation. I am located here in Central Florida, and I'm glad to be here. I will pass it to Ashley.
Hi everyone, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, okay, great. My name is Ashley Figueroa. My pronouns are she, her, ella, and I am actually a proud Latina trans woman and excited that the march is going into Puerto Rico, which is where I was born and raised until I was 9 and came to Orlando. So very excited to see that the march is going to be heading there and we're going to be joining and uplifting and supporting our trans and gender expansive community. I am the executive director for Gender Advancement Project in Orlando, and also I serve on as a consulting director of policy and legislative affairs for Positively You. We have offices in Tampa, Winter Haven, and I do legislative and civic work across the state and nationally.
Step.
Hey everyone, my name is Steph. I am the executive director and founder of Ripple House. We are a sanctuary third space that prioritizes all BIPOC trans people. And I also work as a communications lead for the Marsha P. Johnson Institute. And so I'm really excited because everything that I do here, a lot of what I do is revolved around unity. And, you know, Ashante did say it best, is that this is about unity. And I'm really excited. This is the first time I've ever been a part of something like this. And, you know, I really can't wait. It's just another excuse to be in community and with my family in Puerto Rico, in paradise.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Okay. So can we get, so the next question was, what does this march specifically mean for you?
For me, sure.
Oh, go ahead, Ashley.
Okay, so I would say for me, even though I'm not going to be able to partake this year because it's the same day that we have the Orlando Pride Parade, and I have to be here for that. But what the march means to someone like me is an opportunity, especially in the times that we're in today, where there is so much happening. You know, taking away and stripping the rights away from the trans community, and you know, we are political pawns to the current administration. And seeing that, across the nation, including Puerto Rico, which is a U.S. territory, I feel like the march means an opportunity to resist against everything that's happening and to show up and say that, we're here, we're not going anywhere, and we are one united community.
Marlo, go ahead and introduce yourself, please.
Greetings and humble salutations, everyone investing in human soul who knows it may be a diamond in the rough. My name is Marlo Kimberly Clage, and I reside here in Orlando, Florida. I am an executive director newly of my organization called HOPE. It's called Having Only Positive Expectations. That is geared for the teenage youth as well as the Black youth that is a part of the LGBTQIA experience, so they can have a joyful and liberating school experience without financial hardships, anything of that nature. So I try to help people out. So like recently we helped some people out with prom and stuff like that. We a little gift for graduating students of that nature, as well as I do sit on the board for Divas in Dialogue. So I am excited for this. This is my second National Trans March. And what it means to me is basically being resilient and being as well as shows me grit. And I was just watching Jennifer Lewis on Kiki Palmer's podcast. I love her down, and she was just saying like a message to the people with ICE and stuff like that. And I think it applies to everyone. And you don't have to be on the front lines to make a difference. And I feel like she said that, and it really stuck with me because she was saying, do what you can in your local areas. Like go to your local meetings, go run for local office if you can. Make sure your voice is heard in your local areas because that's where it really counts, and then it'll go outward on. So yeah.
Okay, I'll go. So what the march means to me is personal, and it's a part of my everyday. When I went to the march, I realized what the work was about. I had no clue about advocacy. When I started Unspoken Treasure Society, I thought we would be getting together, having kumbayas and potlucks. So when I got to Washington, D.C. and looked out on a huge field and saw nothing but Black trans women, Black trans brothers, Latino trans sisters and brothers, white trans sisters, and from the cram box, everything, everybody was there. And that was so beautiful to me. Everyone got along, and I learned what the work was. I was invited into a healing space, and I was able to see what healing was, and I was able to really learn a lot. And so when I came home, I hit the ground running, and we started rallying. We started public speaking, and it took my organization to a whole different level. So it means a lot to me because that's where I got my start. And again, if it wasn't for Mulan Montrese, I wouldn't have known because she invited me to be a part of Orlando's trip to the DC March. And that was the very first National Trans Visibility March, and we made history. So, Barbie, what does the march mean to you?
So in regards to what everybody else has stated, I think that the Trans Visibility March means exactly what the words say. It's about visibility and showing the world that we do exist and that we do have a right to take up space and to be able to be our authentic selves and to show up in every room, in every space, in every environment, and just be who we are without prejudice, without discrimination, without harm. So my first time going to the National Trans Visibility March was as well in 2019. Natalia and I came together, and it was the most empowering, transformative experience that I've had in my life thus far. It is the reason why I exist in the space that I exist now in nonprofit. It is the reason why I go even harder for our community because of that experience. So that's what it means to me.
Amazing. Step.
Well, as I've stated before, I've never been before, but I really am anticipating a lot because being around, my people, especially in these days, it can make a big difference, not only in my nervous system, because so many of us are going to be there, but, it really does center around hope and what we're capable of as a group, as a collective, when we push through our differences. And so I'm really excited about that.
Milan.
Like I said, I'm so excited because it's like every year the march comes around and I'm always chasing the same feeling I felt that first year. That's what keeps me going. That's what keeps me excited about the march. I mean, and for all of us, a lot of us on here, that was really the beginning of most of our nonprofit careers. So it's really like a mini anniversary, a mini family reunion, and just a time to collaborate with other people and just learn what they're doing in their cities and states, and really try to and maybe bring some of that stuff back if I feel like it works here. But I'm just excited overall because, like I said, it's like a high that I'm chasing every year that it comes around because I remember the first year. I'm not a very emotional person in out and about. I'm emotional at home with my friends, but I remember me and Giselle were walking in the march, she looked back and she was like, girl, are you really crying? Because I was crying because it was so beautiful. I mean, the love from everyone was just so amazing, and it was top tier, and it is a high that I chase every year that I go to the march again. And I'm just so grateful to be a part of that first one because the first one was just boom. It was just that. It was that. And we go ahead and ask Ashanti.
I don't think she can hear us.
Okay, Marlo. Oh, go ahead.
I think Marlo already answered she answered her question. So one of the things that we talked about, okay, would you like to go ahead, Ashanti, and say what the march means to you?
I keep getting this notification saying that the hostess has muted my mic.
Go ahead, you're open now.
I can't hear you. When you mute the mic, you cut me totally off.
I think it's just you have to leave. I think you just have to leave and come back.
We can
hear you, so you can talk.
Because that's what was going on with me. I just have to leave and come back. It's okay.
Okay, so we'll move on. One of the questions that we've been getting is why.
Can you hear any of us, Ashanti?
So I want Ashley to take a moment and answer that question, and then we'll all pipe in and answer it.
Yeah, you were going in and out a little bit. Can you repeat the question for me, please?
I said I was getting the question a lot, as well as Milan. Why Puerto Rico? And so, being that you have you lived in Puerto Rico, can we get that answer first from you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a very valid question. Even though that there are not a lot of protections and Puerto Rico tends to be an island where there's still a lot of bigotry and transphobia that exists because of the, culture, right? I would say that in those times we have two options, right? We can either say we're going to ignore what's happening, so we're going to turn our backs on the community, or we're actually going to stand with our community and we're going to try to uplift them, because we know, I think in the times that we're in, it's been pretty clear for the trans community and many other minority groups that have realized that all we have is ourselves to take care for ourselves, right?
Mhm.
So I feel that this is an opportunity for us to do just that. It's an opportunity to say that, even though it might not, there's still a lot to achieve from the things that I just mentioned. We are a strong, united community, and we're showing Puerto Rico that it is possible that, love transcends hate. And so that in itself, I feel like it's a valid reason, right, for us as to why we want to, that really highlights the importance of showing up for community, even in spaces where, there's still progress to be made.
Yes. I'll just go and say that one of the reasons that I am proud and happy to be going to Puerto Rico is because I love my brothers and sisters. I love my family. And the reason I am happy to be going to Puerto Rico is because I know that there's not a lot of coverage there. And being that I feel like they don't feel seen or heard because they don't get the attention that they truly deserve in Puerto Rico. So I think the fact that we are going to Puerto Rico and we're going in numbers is going to be beautiful. And that's going to show them that we are unified and we want them to feel that. So that's the reason why I'm so happy that we are going to Puerto Rico, because I just feel like they need that. Just like sometimes, some days, think about us. We need to feel affirmed sometimes. And I think that affirmation will make a lot of people there feel better, to know that they have family, friends, and people who care about them here. Whoever wants to go next can go ahead.
I
Well,
think I'll go. Or can
go
y'all
ahead.
hear me? Or is Barbie
Yes, we can
going?
hear you, Marla. Go ahead.
Okay, so really fast. As being a young trailblazer, I love keep going to these, like how Milan said, these family reunions. Um, and it just opened up my eyes, like how she said with her trans march, it opened her eyes. I did go to the one in Washington, which opened up my eyes, but what really opened up my eyes is the one that we just went to, that big old convening. And I was just like, wow, just like you just said, all these different ones in the coloring box from Hawaii, from Puerto Rico, from Portugal, and Africa, everywhere. It just like really opened my eyes to like say, okay, well, we're not just a little speck. We're more than like we're really everywhere if you really think about it. And I love that, like you just said, it's not really coverage over there. So us coming over there and like grain of salt, shaking the scene up, I think that'll be good for them, because I believe that they have some things going on over there that we can bring light to, and like we can both work hand by hand with helping each other out.
Okay. Barbie.
Well, as a fellow islander, I am originally from the U.S. Virgin Islands, and Puerto Rico is our sister island. So I can say that the Caribbean islands are often overlooked when it comes to LGBTQIA acknowledgement. It is often seen as taboo places that really doesn't get as much support as it should. I'm so excited and happy to see that the Caribbean islands are finally getting acknowledgement for the queer and trans people that live there, that also need as much support as the ones that live on in the mainland, the stateside. So this is an opportunity for us who now live in the mainland or the stateside to go over to these communities and show them our support, because more than ever, Puerto Rico and the Caribbean islands are underfunded. They are in crisis right now, and it is going to bring a lot of visibility and attention to an island that desperately needs the attention right now. So I'm so happy that we're going to help them, not just economically, but as a camaraderie, as a community, as a brotherhood, sisterhood, nibbling. So this year in Puerto Rico, it's not just about having fun in the sun and having a Caribbean experience, but I want you to get immersed in a Caribbean lifestyle, the community, see what it's like, get to talk to the people, the local people, support local businesses while you're there, show them the support that they desperately deserve and need.
Yes, I think that was beautifully said from everyone. And how do you feel about that, Steph?
Honestly, I feel amazing about the possibility of also addressing the massive gap that we unfortunately do have in our Black and Brown trans communities. As somebody who is both, Afro-Latin, it is hard to, sometimes have to choose between what spaces I occupy. And the beautiful thing about this space is that I don't have to choose, and that we are finally doing something. Well, we've been doing something for a while, but now I think it's really taking charge, that we're actually working as a collective, and we're, pushing aside our differences and working from a place of agreement. So often we see, divisiveness in the community. So it's really important, and I'm most excited for it being in Puerto Rico because we get to bridge that gap. So many of us, or our organizations are Black led. And so it just makes me really happy to, see that light at the end of the tunnel and see that we can work and we can push and we are one,
Yes. And I'm going to just be honest. I'm happy to be going because I ain't never been. So let me just get that on out there. Yes, I'm so excited. But actually, something you just said stood out to me. And I know it's coming from a place of the trans masculine community. What is one thing, this is for you, Steph, what is one thing trans masculine people can do after this panel to become more present, to be more connected and more active in closing the resource gap in our communities?
That's a great question. I do see that there are massive gaps in, care and sometimes even community spaces for trans masculine folks, not just trans men, but also trans masculine folks. I do think that what trans masculine people can do after this panel and, going forward is, yes, speak up and say that you would like a space. But in the spaces that we occupy now and today, we need to be relentless about wanting to take up the space and doing what we can to remain visible. This is all about visibility. And so often, a lot of us trans masculine folks find comfort and safety in being behind the scenes until we need something, unfortunately. And so for me, it's a really important for me to stress, especially to my siblings who are trans masculine, that, closed mouths don't get fed. Yes, you have to speak up. And also, you can't just eat by, having the plate at your table. You also have to digest the food. You have to chew the food. You have to show up and do the work and still be able to carry what it looks like to advocate for people, especially people who look like you. I find myself in a position of honor being able to be one of the only trans masculine folks being here in this space, in this Orlando space or Central Florida space. And I do what I can to be able to really light that fire in my brothers and my siblings because it's so important. And, we will only see the care that we need once we put our input in and actually do the work to get that outcome.
Yeah.
Ashley, I want to hear from you from the legislative standpoint, because I know that that's something that's very near and dear to all of us, but you have information, that you could give us about what to expect when we get there, about our safety and that good stuff. So could you give us a feedback?
Yeah, I would say that there's been some progress. Even though there's still progress that needs to be made, there's been some progress in Puerto Rico. Like we had along with Land Legal years ago, Daniela, a trans woman from Puerto Rico, Victoria Arroyo, sued the Commonwealth of the island, and thanks to her, Puerto Rico individuals, residents are able to get our birth certificates amended, which is something that, for example, in some states, it's not even possible, including Florida, where we reside, right? So there's been some progress that's worth acknowledging and some stuff that we're proud of. But I would say, like Luis Diego mentioned in the comment section, and thank you all for engaging with us. I know we have Bev Treats, Mayra Lozano, Victoria Castro, Torina, Jasmine. Thank you all for engaging and for all the love. But yeah, so I would say what to expect. Puerto Rico as a whole, the march is going to be taking place in San Juan, which is the capital, and I am hopeful that the march has, already engaged with, a team to ensure that safety is, top of mind. I wouldn't really doubt that that's already taken place. So I would say that, hopefully in that sense, but in the sense of the island itself, safety, make sure, just like any other place, any other country that you're visiting, just make sure that you stay surrounded by those, that are in your corner, in your community. Make sure that you're not going places alone, and just keeping yourself safe. I think those things are very, very important. And then also at the same time, like if you have an opportunity, I know that there's going to be a lineup of different events. Get to know the organizations. There's a week of events or a few days. And some of the local organizations I know are going to be highlighted, and as a community, get to know who they are, get to know how, you can support, sometimes, the support might be, attending their activities on social media if you're able to, or perhaps you'll be able to collaborate from your organization with the communities and organizations in Puerto Rico. So I would say those are some of the things, some of the ways that you can also, stay engaged and support the community there in Puerto Rico.
Yes, and I heard earlier someone say, I think it was Steph. Go ahead, Ashanti. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Milan.
No, I was just going to go into what I heard earlier with Steph say, closed mouths don't get fed. And I just wanted to bring up the fact that we are in the Central Florida area and we are collaborating together to get our folks there to Puerto Rico this year. So we are fundraising. So if anyone out there wants to help us out, go ahead and look at our pages, or you can hit any one of us up. We are trying to get 25 trans individuals to Puerto Rico. And as you can imagine, that is very, very, very expensive. So please look up on our pages as we fundraise to get our folks there. And if you have any more questions after this, definitely just hit us up and inbox us. And what you have to say, Marlo?
Just gonna say, everyone, say y'all handles so the people can follow y'all, as well as so they know. Grain of salt, I do understand that we're under the page of the National Trans Visibility March, but if y'all can go to our individual pages, that is where the real fundraising is going to be. So y'all can directly talk with us if there's anything that y'all have any questions about on, let's say, if y'all can get 5 plane tickets, or if y'all can give us some of your flight mileage or whatever, any perks that y'all, anything can help us. So just make sure y'all reach out to everyone that's on here to see what you can do.
Ashanti, would you like to give what does the march mean to you?
Girl, I went first.
Okay, you already said it. Okay.
I do want to say something. Puerto Rico is a very beautiful island. It is a pretty safe place, but while you're there, take heed to what the locals say. If they tell you not to go to certain areas, don't go to those areas, and it's for your safety. That's not to galvanize fear or anything like that. That's just to make sure that everybody makes it back home safely. Because again, we're going to be there in record numbers. It's going to be a lot of things to do and a lot of people to meet. And we're not the only ones that are going to be visited. So just be mindful of your surrounding. As Ashley said, keep yourself with people that you know. Make sure that you let somebody know when you're going somewhere and where you're going so that you're safe and accounted for. This is still a Caribbean island, and they are still somewhat behind in the times on how they think about us LGBTQ folks. And to imagine an island full of trans and non-binary people, that more than they've ever probably seen in their life, is going to be a little bit of a shell-shocking situation. So just be aware. of those things when you're in that space as well.
Yes, and
So,
if
Queen,
anybody and
go
if
ahead.
anyone out there is wondering, registration will be open July 6th for the host hotel with all the information needed. Again, registration opens July 6th, and the host hotel booking link will be released. So be on the lookout. July 6th. Go ahead and save that date. You know, it's first come, first serve, folks.
So if you guys, this is just popping up in my head because mouths don't get fed, so I'm very hungry. So as well as you guys may know, all of Central Florida transgender, non-binary folks are going down into Puerto Rico. You guys can hit up Milan Williams on Facebook so she can, so you guys can give all of the girls a Arm the Divas pack for $25 that comes with mace and everything it has in there to keep us safe for that week of the march. So if you don't know how to, help us, that's one way to help us by keeping us safe. It's only $25. Go in there and go ahead and please look into that.
Yes. Unspoken Treasure has a box too of the Keep Arm the Divas. We definitely are making sure that we keep each other safe. Does anybody else want to say anything before we wrap it up?
Okay, so I'm tired of shooting my mic. Okay?
No, we have to. They have to mute your mic because you're not muting it when you come back on, and the background is taking over the sound. So that's why they had to mute you. They told you that in the side group. I don't think you probably seen it.
When y'all muted the mic, each time y'all did that, I couldn't hear nothing.
Okay, go
But
ahead.
again, on the side panel, they're telling you they're muting it because you're not muting it yourself, Ashanti, and your sound.
Understandable. We all, Miss Ashanti, we all had. I had the same problem as you, but we're better now. Go ahead.
Go ahead and speak, Ashanti.
So I'm asking, earlier during the planning of the Trans March, I was told that it was going to be more than just the hosting hotel. So now is it only the hosting hotel, or are there other hotels that have been sought out and will be available as well at a lower price?
Well, we're not the organizers, so at this particular question, you would need to refer that back to Marissa or whoever's organizing and overseeing those logistic things. They're not on the call, but this is just about Central Florida and getting activated. So, but good question, but that would be something that you would need to speak with the National Trans Visibility Logistic team about.
Yes, we can have a follow-up with Marissa and Quentin and the Lakeisha and all the organizers for the march. I saw that we have the mother of the march, Miss Lynn Morrison. Y'all give her a little cheer. She's the young lady that came up with the idea. How are you, Lynn? So I mean, what's a good takeaway, y'all, as we get ready to wrap this up? What is a good takeaway for you all? We'll start with Ashley because I know you have we have to get to. So what is
Yes. So thank you all for having me. Thank you all who joined and engaged with us. So I would say go with an open mind to everyone and an open heart. Puerto Rico is a beautiful island. We do have beautiful people, and the food is delicious, even though we eat tons of fried food. But you know what? You can, enjoy while you're there. It's not an everyday thing, right, for you. So do that and, have fun. Get to make sure you see that we have a lot of historic, places like El Morro in San Juan, El Yunque, which is a tropical rainforest. See if you have an opportunity to visit Carabalí, which is in the rainforest. You can go, I forgot what it's called. It's like you get in a little vehicle and then you go around the island. Not the RV, the Ford Track or something like that.
Four-wheeler,
Four-wheeler, yeah, we call it Ford Track in Puerto Rico. I'm already on thinking like that. So have an opportunity to do that, and make sure that while you're doing it, you also just keep each other safe and protected. That is what I would say. And then make sure that, you make the best of this experience, because we're in a time, like I mentioned before, where we need to be coming together. We need to be pushing differences aside, because that's really the only way that we're going to be able to have a strong front and combat, what's happening against our community. And hello, Diana, my sister.
Hey, Flo Michelle. Steph, what is your takeaway?
My takeaway is that we are capable of so much when we put our minds to it and we put all the other things aside. Everything but the work should and can stop, you know? And so my takeaway is that I'm very excited to be able to connect with more people, with more BIPOC trans folks, with more trans folks in general. And I'm hoping that just like with you guys, it was a set off for something greater for your organizations and more networking and, more umph to the work. I'm hoping that the same thing happens to, myself professionally, and also, with Ripple House being able to have more resources and, a wider network for me to be able to serve the community.
Yes. Marlo, what's your takeaway?
You guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So my takeaway is, I'm just a sponge, so I respect everyone's, takeaway. So I'm just going to piggyback off everyone really fast. I just feel as though I'm a good girl for a quote. So like an injustice to one is an injustice to all. So even if I don't know you, to me, if you're trans, I'm not going to let anything, happen to you, because I just feel like we're embedded in a way and we're in this secret society. And I also feel like the more we show up in numbers, the more they know that we're not just going to be scared by the little scary tactics or the scary laws and stuff like that. And like I was telling Milan one day, I think it came down to like the name change. And I was like, at first, she like, well, girl, you're my daughter, so I'm gonna tell you the right way to do things. You need to go get your name changed first. You need to do your leisure, your this, your that, name change number one. I'm like, oh, okay, girl. She's like, okay, girl, they're probably gonna, get y'all, and like, the new girls won't be able. Girl, that don't got nothing to do with me. I know I'm gonna be da. And then boom, it wound up happening to me to where I couldn't get it, or I couldn't get my gender marker changed. So I tell everybody, just because it's not happening to you now, it's going to affect you regardless. So once they get rid of this group and get done with this group, they're coming over here to this one. So I tell everybody, it's a job for all of us. We have all a part to play.
Yes. Ashanti?
I was listening to Marlo and I was thinking, because I've been saying this all along, you all. Trump might have started out with the gay and the LGBTQ people, but then he ended up messing with everybody. I mean, the veterans, healthcare, food stamps, housing, homelessness, the list goes on. And that's not just trans people, that's everybody that lives in the United States. So in order for us to change things for the positive, we're gonna have to put down our differences. Because right now the differences is what brings us together. It really does. Because everybody's affected by what's going on. Everyone. This trans march shows that we could come together. And we don't have, what is that word that people are always trying to say? We have a narrative that we're trying to push on people. We don't have a narrative that we want to push. All I want to do is be able to live in peace. I want to be able to go to work, come home, pay my bills, grow old, play with my damn dogs, excuse my French, and be in peace. This trans march is those steps to getting that, because they see us together. They see us in unity. And once we come together, baby, they can't stop us. So I look forward to the trans march. I look forward to the family feeling, the sisterhood, the laughing, the fun, because it's fun. When we all come together, it's fun. And it's vacation, girl, vacation on the beach. Come on. Okay.
Barbie?
Well, thank you everyone for your input. What I want to add to the conversation is that when you think of the word community, it has two bases to it. It says come united, right? So if we're going to operate and come into this space as a community, we have to remember the basis of where all these things started. We have to come united. Collective liberation will require collective action. Until all of us are free, none of us are free, right? So this is beyond just the trans and non-binary people that will be in this march. This is a awakening for every single person that is going to be privy to seeing it, being activated, inspired by it. We as a people deserve to have leadership that represents all of us. We as a people deserve to have liberties and freedoms that is open to all of us. When we look at what's happening in this current country, we see that the division is only affecting the most marginalized communities, the disabled, the veterans, Black and brown communities. They're now putting the racial minority groups against each other to further divide us even further. I know that we will have our differences, but our differences are not so significant that we cannot put our differences to the side to come together to make sure that the world that we are leaving behind for the youth, our kids, the people that come after us is a world that we want to see and know that they will grow up and be better, right? We are the example. We are literally the example. Going to Puerto Rico personifies that we are showing our youth that we are not willing to be afraid. We are not willing to lay down on a sword for them to take away our rights. We are empowering them by our actions. So what I want to say for everybody that can make it to Puerto Rico, and even for those that cannot make it to Puerto Rico, share the message. Tell a friend, tell a few friends, because when it gets out, the major thing that they are most afraid of is us organizing. And this is our way of showing that we're going to fight back. This is the organizing. So let's take this march and let's capitalize on the moment and let's bring it back to our respective communities and continue to fight for our rights and our freedom.
And my takeaway is, united we stand, divided we fall. And we have to come together, just like you just said, Barbie. And you don't have to be the best of friends. We don't go home together. We don't sleep in the same bed, but we have to come together for this cause and we have to fight. Milan.
Well, after Barbie done with, I don't know what to say.
Right, because she summed it up. Barbie's knocked it out the park.
Yes, but only thing I will say, one of my new takeaways is after hearing Ashley talk about that food, I'm gonna have to get off my shot for a week before and a week after so I can enjoy this food over there.
So I come
enjoy me some food over there.
So thank you all. This is our Florida activation, and this was your Florida Reps. Thank you.
See you in Puerto Rico.
Bye.
Bye, y'all. Thank you.
See y'all later.
Can't wait to see y'all in Puerto Rico.
See you in October.
And again, if anyone has questions, please hit us up, inbox us personally, and we'll get any questions that you need answered. Bye, everyone.
Bye.